Okay, hi everyone. My name is Ghostwood. I'm the world record holder for this amazing game, Elf the movie.
Hi, I'm Blomqf. I'm also a runner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ZDdub. I'm not a runner, but I help with glitch finding and routing.
Yep.
Cool.
And like I said, this is Elf the movie. Elf is a very interesting grab bag of level design. I don't think they really knew what they were trying to do when they made it. But like a blind run through of this game takes about an hour and a half, but if you know what you're doing and know how to avoid all of the bull crap they put in to make it somewhat difficult, then you can do it in a little under 30 minutes. So that's going to be the goal today. All right, are you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, my emulator is messing up for some reason, so let me reset that real quick.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I leave it sitting for too long, then the video just cuts out. Alright. So. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so to start it off, he's playing in German, because it saves about 3 or 4 seconds. It's just a minor save we found tassing, because there's a lot of text spamming in this game.
Yeah, the German, like, text pictures are smaller, so you can match through them quicker. That's basically the only way I can explain that.
Yeah. So we're coming up on the first trick of the run here, which is called Ghosties. There's gonna be a polar bear that's walking backwards. And he's gotta try and jump over it, basically. It's a very, very tight jump.
I got it.
You got it? Nice.
Yep. 1, 2, 3. And I stop at that tree for 3 beats to like line up the next jump, because the polar bear takes a little bit to turn around, and that way I can not have to wait for him, just walk up and do it.
Yeah, the second ghosty is a lot harder.
Woo!
His jump is just long enough that he can get over the polar bear, but it's really, really tight, so he has to be right up on the backside if he's going to be able to get past it.
Which is a real life fact about Will Ferrell. His jump is about as long as a polar bear. So.
Okay, so the next trick in the run is my baby. It's called icicle skip. So there's these icicles that are falling here, and normally you have to wait for them, but you can jump under them.
So
it's a really tough trick. We miss it a lot.
I watched for the icicle to like be behind Buddy's hat, and then I know I've walked past it far enough, and then I can jump. Basically, is how it works.
Yeah. So he's gonna wait on these last icicles just as a safe strat because we're in a marathon environment. Normally we'd reset a lot in this level, but
yeah, the North Pole section of this game is the most optimized, and there's no RNG in it. So typically we try to like only do runs where we get these tricks just to avoid RNG like ruining PB pace, but obviously no reset's kind of different. So I'm having a little bit of difficulty with these, so I'm just gonna like wait for them just to move on to the next level. But the first set that we did is what the trick typically looks like. And I'll try one more at the end because there's, oh my gosh. Okay. I'll try one more at the end because there's one where like if you fall, it drops you like right before the icicle. So it's like a no penalty trick to attempt.
Yeah.
So I'll wait on this one.
They're really, really like a close jump. And it only saves about 10 seconds in the long of it, so there's time to save it.
Yep. We'll move on.
Alright. Next level is New York.
Yeah, perfect first level, not good second level, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think those.
So yeah,
New York is very straightforward. All it is that the letters that spell out New York are scattered around the level, and they're normally above these gumdrops here, which you jump on. The more you jump on them, the higher you go, and basically the only way you can save time is every now and then you could maybe skip it if you get close to the right side of the gumdrop. You can skip having to do 2 or 3 jumps when you might need to normally.
Yeah. So
that's about the only way you can save time. There's really not much you can do in this level. It's very just straightforward.
There's certain ones that are really, really close that you can make, but they're just not worth risking it most of the time.
That was kind of a risky jump right there. You can kind of tell because like the camera goes down, and that means that like the camera expected me to fall into the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
These last 5 I can do with 1 jump each every time though. All right.
Okay.
Move on.
Yeah, we're moving on to probably the hardest level in the run, which is known as Iceberg Hell. We took that name from the original runner Kezzup because his splits were called that. Shout out to Kezzup, by the way, he's the OG.
He was right. It's the worst. It's a nightmare.
He couldn't be here today, but we wanted Keza to be here.
There's 2 cycles that you're wanting to hit in this level. The first one we have a little bit of time, so you can kind of play it a little safer. Just because if you play it as fast as possible, you're still going to end up waiting for one of those icebergs to come back so that you can jump on it and it carries you to another section. And then from there, you really want to move perfectly to hit another cycle that is much more like time dependent from the moment you get to the second area.
I can still get early cycle, but I'm gonna have to play perfectly.
I think Dream Cycle is dead though.
No, Dream Cycle depends on getting early cycle.
Yeah, you just need early cycle to hit Dream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Blomqf, don't you run this game?
Jeez.
I don't think I'm gonna get early. That's okay though. So
I apologize for interrupting the spotless commentary so far, but do we have a minute?
yeah, of course, go for it.
Because we have a $5 donation from Cool Beans saying,
Oh, boy.
yeah, proud of you, Ghostwood. Good luck.
Thank you, Cool Beans. I appreciate
That's
it.
the spirit right there. That's the spirit right there.
Thank you.
If
Cool
you
Beans.
want to put, if you want to put that towards a bid war, let us know. We can like reallocate it based on your wishes. Like, just contact us and we'll put that towards any naming bid war. Back to the run.
Yep. Okay, so the part of like the hard thing about missing the first cycle is if you miss it, then like the polar bears will be in front of the next cycle, like when you're ready for it, and you have to jump around them. So we're gonna have to wait here a little bit longer. This level is, it kind of snowballs out of control basically. So if you get the first cycle correctly, then you can get the next cycle like immediately, if you move perfectly. So I'm just now gonna be able to get on this. Now the next cycle, we'll just approach it as fast as we can to be ready for it as early as possible, basically. So
yeah, this level is called Hell for a reason. It can be really rough.
oh my goodness, man. I'm having a little bit of a buddy breakdown, but we'll be okay. So I'll just get on this next cycle. I'll wait for it. The level is going to take about, I'd say we're on track to do this level in about 3 minutes and 45 seconds. That used to be like a world record-able split. Now my goal is 2:30, but I'd say most of the time I end up doing it at about 2:50 or so.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait here.
Yeah, the cycles in this level are rough, and when you get behind, it's just hard to get back into it. Just in general, this is a really rough level.
Okay, so yeah, this is where this next cycle is. If you do it perfectly up until this point, then I can like run up and jump onto the next cycle like as it's going away from me. Luckily for now, we can just kind of chill and get on it here. I'll have to go around that polar bear. And then there's going to be a little iceberg right here, so I'll wait. I tried to go for a risky jump there because you can't really lose time by attempting to do so. So now I'll just run up and get on this next cycle, and I'll be ready for the next one right when I was going to be. So a lot of it's just like improvising, like trying to get it as fast as you can, and then moving on basically.
Yeah, it's just rough because normally we would reset here if we mess it up, but you know. And the cycles it's just hard to get back into these kind of cycles when you haven't done them in a while. Hey, the music in this game though?
Yeah, horrible actually, but I'm so used to it at this point. I just have it memorized. Yeah, so I went for a kind of a riskier thing there because I saw the next cycle ready to go. And now there's a flag, so this will be where when I inevitably fall into the water again.
Yeah, it's just this whole level is just suffering. The hitboxes on the icebergs are both very bad and like sometimes good for you, but they're deceiving.
Yep, that's the end. Okay, finally move on. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to talk to us about sled?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this level, you're basically going down the hill. You know, it's like you ever played Club Penguin? It's basically that. As Z came up with. So there's a bunch of obstacles in the way. If you bump into one of them, it kind of disables you, and you're probably gonna bump into another one. And the ice patches speed you up. The rock patches slow you down.
The ramps speed you up, but not as much as the ice patches.
Yeah.
This level.
So it's just.
Sorry, no, you can say. Go ahead.
Okay, it's just basic. Like it's kind of luck of the draw when you get in here. For most of the level. So it's just dodging on the spot, like.
Yeah, it's RNG except for the end, and there's like a prevailing theory that actually we've known for a while that the end of the game is not RNG, but my friend Katie earlier when we were doing no reset runs, I think actually kind of figured out why. So we'll talk about it when we get there. But up until that point, it's all RNG. So basically, I just have to like look for things that speed me up and avoid bonking as much as possible. Most world record runs of this level have like about 1 or 2 bonks. Also, thank you for the quality difference. Yeah, studio level mic, laptop webcam.
But yeah, as you can see here, the timer, like the time doesn't really matter. Like he's been picking up clocks just because he's bonking a lot. But in general, in a good run of this, it's not going to matter because passing the major checkpoints gives you more time.
Yep. Yeah, so we're in like, there's like 3 different flags that are numbered. So we're about to pass flag number 2 here, which is where you'll get extra time. And this is just kind of a good indicator for me about how fast I'm going. Once you pass flag number 1, then the scenery starts to change a little bit. And the scenery represents the fact that like, hey, you're approaching New York City. So there's like trash cans and streetlights and stuff like that. So once those things appear, then it's not random anymore because they like hard-coded it to make sure that you could see those little obstacles.
Yeah, they had to have the world design going here in Elf the movie, the video game for Game Boy Advance.
A lot of world building went into Elf the movie, the game for the Game Boy Advance. Yeah, so far there's a pretty standard skis. This level used to freak me out, but after a lot of practice, it's not like memorized obviously, but I've gotten to the point where I'm just kind of used to the way that you need to move in it. So now we're in the 1 section. You'll start seeing some of those New York things that we talked about appearing. You'll know that the level's ending when there's going to be 2 ramps in a row a little while, and then there'll be 3 ramps in a row. There's the 2. Oh, there's actually a 3rd one. I'm not used to that. There'll be another set of like 3 ramps, and then we'll take some ice that goes onto a big ramp, and then the level will end. There's actually the 2 I was talking about, so we'll dodge for a little bit longer here.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just about at the end here.
So
like we said, time is no worry. You know, you're all good.
Yeah. So this ends the North Pole section of the game, as I talked about. So now we're in New York. If you want to talk about,
I mean, as you can tell, we went down we sledded down the mountain. Now we're in New York City.
Yeah.
Big banner that says "Welcome to New York."
Yeah. There's no more snow. Welcome to New York. The New York City section of the game is plagued with RNG, so that's why, like I said, we try to do North Pole basically as perfectly as we can. This level is pretty low impact RNG wise, but there is a little area at the end that I've dubbed Group Hug, if you want to talk about that, Zach.
Yeah, all Group Hug is that most of these raccoons here have like a set pattern here. Group Hug is where like there are 2 raccoons right next to each other that kind of spawn at different increments, moving at different speed. And so if they're moving at like a really uncommon, hard to move around speed, they can catch you in like a middle of the jump that you're about to land. So that's the only part that's really not just completely straightforward in this level. It takes a little bit more reaction. So,
yeah, but even then, Group Hug usually like doesn't affect us.
Yeah, most of the time it's
just
not
well-planned jumps. There's the first raccoon. There's the second one. That's a pretty standard Group Hug, but sometimes it'll be a little yikes.
A little tight.
Yeah. It's basically a perfect raccoon split, I'd say. No falling into the water, nothing major like that.
Yeah. So next up we got lights.
That was actually a gold raccoon split. Just want to put that out there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Alright, yeah, so this level is lights. So basically, he's walking down the streets of New York City trying to pick up Christmas lights. And this level is the most, like, RNG based because the lights can either spawn on either side of the street.
So here's one across the street, so I gotta cross. There was a car coming, so I had to stop so I don't hit it, because when you hit the car, you lose a lot of health, and you could potentially have to completely restart the level, which we obviously don't want to do.
Yeah, your health also slowly ticks down in this level for some reason.
Because it's hard work just walking down the street, dude. Like, there's poison everywhere, but it's just dying.
A little bad luck on the first few lights, but you had 2 in a row there. Let's 3.
So I had to cross for that. That was kind of a close call, but we were able to do it. So of course, obviously, if just walking down the street kills Buddy, then there has to be a medicine. Luckily, there is. Revolving doors, obviously, is the solution to that. So we're gonna get in a revolving door, and then the poison can't hurt us there, and we'll be healthier again. So we're gonna get in the
except the
revolving door
dude
right
chases
here.
you out when you go out of the door.
Yeah, so we're gonna get in the store. I'm gonna wait to watch 2 cars pass at the same time and then cross the street. So there's my opportunity, and there's the guy, but he can't follow me.
He just like tries to chase you out, but he won't cross the street. So he like runs up to the street and immediately turns around.
Yeah, so the after you leave the revolving door, there's 2 more, but you don't have to go in them unless you like lose HP. So now I'm just gonna be super careful about like when I cross the street, and that will give me the opportunity to not have to go in any more doors. So yeah, we're gonna be kind of careful. There's another revolving door after 13 lights, so if I do like get hurt like in the next like 20 seconds or so, we'll be okay, but should be good. This has been like 6 out of 10 RNG. It hasn't been absolutely terrible, but I've had to cross the street a lot. My gold for this split is a 256, but I usually lose about 30 seconds to that gold on any given run just because like my gold, literally like 11 of the lights were on the same side of the road. I just didn't have to cross. So here's 2 in a row, so that's kind of fortunate. There's going to be another revolving door after 17 lights, so we're kind of in the safety zone again to look for more risky street crossing.
Do we have another few moments?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sure.
Cause we got another 2 donations. This run's going good, I guess.
Awesome. Glad to hear it.
We have $5 from 6 Fs saying ice *** out of bounds win.
One day, I hope.
And then we have $20 from Drew_, saying, "This is the future of speedrunning. Shout out to my boy Blomqf for introducing me to Elf the movie, the game, for the Game Boy Advance. Truly a masterpiece."
Cannot agree
Thank
more.
you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I would like
goodness. Okay, go ahead.
I would like to remind everyone donating that if you want to contribute to Bid Wars, and I'm saying Bid Wars because a $100 donation towards all incentives early in the marathon actually met all incentives, so it's just Bid Wars left at this point.
Yeah.
Just let us know, contact us, and we'll get that allocated to whatever you want. So, back to the run.
Okay. So unfortunately, for some reason, there's like a glitch sometimes where like right when you're crossing the street at the end, you'll take damage. I don't know what causes it to happen, but just to like make it so it's not too big of a thing, just because it's a marathon run, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, like as we have to go through this level again. But you guys basically have an understanding of what it should look like on a normal run. So like I said, I'm just gonna fast forward every now and then so we can get back to the rest of the run. I don't know what causes the glitch. Whenever I get it on an actual runs, I just typically end the run, if I'm being honest. But so
that's just rough. That's a huge time loss. There's not really much you can do about that. You just gotta kind of get lucky, like with the lights.
Yeah, that's like the worst example of RNG, having to like cross immediately back to get that light, because the guy will just like wait for me there, so I have to like run away as soon as I'm done with him. But
yeah,
we'll cross here.
So yeah, this level in general is also just suffering like Iceberg. It has a lot to do with RNG, but it's also just, it can be very unforgiving if you're not extremely careful. But it's like a midway point in the run.
That's speedrunning, baby.
Yeah.
So we're almost done with take 2 here.
So after this, we're gonna go into more RNG levels, more like puzzle-like sections, but
yeah, do you want to start explaining what mailroom is like before we get there?
Yeah, okay, so I'm sure everyone that's probably played the little game where you like set up pipes in a way that water can get through it or whatever. It's like that, but with mail packages. So yeah, that's the main thing. You just kind of got to get lucky on where the mail package is placed and all that kind of stuff. But
if you've seen the classic Christmas flick Elf the movie, then you'll remember that Buddy was sent to work in the mailroom by his dad, who like wanted nothing to do with him. So of course they were like, well, that should take up 45% of the video game we make. That 3-minute scene from the movie. So there's 3 sections of like 2 puzzles, like Donald described, and then there's 3 sections of package puzzles, was basically just sign-in, so we're gonna move on to that now, finally.
Yeah. This part of the game is kind of rough because it's hard to save time here, and the section after it, there's no way to save time, so...
Yeah, so I basically just have to, like, think on my toes and, like, be ready to, like, turn the pipes as fast as possible, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a decent first package. On that one, you gotta send 8 parcels. On this one, you have to take 5 package doors up.
Yep. Good RNG in these levels are, like, if they're close to each other, then that obviously helps a lot. Also, this is good RNG because I ended on 8, and the first one was 9, so I was able to just, like, step over real quickly to 9, so that's another good example of what good RNG looks like.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go into some other stuff. The thing that was mentioned earlier in that donation was ice out of bounds on icebergs. We've theorized before, and there's like a small bounty out on it. The idea of being able to get out of bounds on icebergs so we could skip the whole level, no cycles or anything. And we've gotten close because there's areas along the side where you can kind of jump out, but it's not really a thing.
Yeah, there's this weird thing where, like, sometimes Buddy just doesn't take damage when you fall in the water, so that's why we think it's possible, but, like, we don't know, like, what we would have to do to actually make it work, so it's kind of like a meme of our 5-person community. That's something you could do.
Yeah, we've had people working on it. I've had people who are just good at breaking games try to work on it. I haven't found much more than very minor stuff, but we still hope it's possible.
5169.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, mailroom's been going really well, even though we had a difficulty time in lights. 5694.
Yeah. So the packages, the only differences between levels is that they like add another number. It's not much.
Yeah, by the time you get to 5-digit codes, it's really easy to mess up. So I just start saying it out loud to be safe. 3265.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty standard packages too.
And then we have another mailroom, pipes. I believe the split name is
Tubes 3.
Yeah, tubes.
This one is Tubes 3. This time it's personal is what I have it called in my splits.
It's yeah. This one is weird because you can like get pipes that work and then it won't accept it occasionally. That probably is not going to come up, but occasionally does.
Yeah, sometimes there's like 2 methods of finishing it, and if you don't do the method that it thought about, then like I don't know why. Surprised that every office is connected right to the elevator. Well, of course every office is connected right to the elevator. It's a very tall, very short building.
Yeah. No, the elevator can just go left or right as well.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's why the key like this. Yeah, 74861. Yeah, that's why the keys are in rows, because like 1, 2, and 3 are all on the same floor.
Exactly.
63812.
And we're making our own headcanon for the elevator.
Yeah, there's 9,999 floors. 78435. Oh, it's 78435. Pretty much every world record run I've ever gotten has missed 1 code in packages 3 just because it's really difficult. 49671 I think was what that was. Yep. We'll move on.
No, it's very easy to just like press A too fast and skip it or slip of the fingers.
So here's Snowball Fight.
Oh god. This is the worst section of the game.
So this game has 2 levels that are hard-coded to take 3 minutes, which obviously is great speed game material. So I have to hit 30 snowballs in 3 minutes. The only way I can lose time is if I hit Santa, I'll gain 10 seconds, which technically gives me more time to hit my goal. So I actually do that as like a backup strat some runs if I'm behind. But pretty typically what's going to end up happening here is I'm just going to hit 30 snowballs and then just like crouch until the level's over. So
I've noticed that we also got the way that they spawn is always set before you start the level, and we got the the worst one here, where the Santa spawns twice instead of just in 1 point. So we obviously have a higher chance of hitting Santa. But
and you'll notice he was very careful at aiming that elf there next to Santa. That's because even if the cursor isn't directly on him, it sometimes still hits him.
Yeah. Also, just so everyone's clear, there is an even worse RNG seed where only one guy spawns every 10 seconds and it's impossible.
That's right.
So yeah, that's technically the worst. But yeah, double Santa is unlucky, but it's okay.
Yeah, if that happens, you have to just pause and reset and lose at least like 20 seconds.
Yeah,
So.
it used to be like the inside joke of my PB runs that I hit Santa every time. I think I finally started avoiding that, but it's fine because we moved on to the joke being me messing up in the second to last level every time. Yeah, 21.
20. So after you get we can take more donations if any of.
And if
right
not,
about now.
you might just want to start talking about the end of the game.
Yeah. No. Okay, so I'm just gonna get into. We have the game split up into like major sections. So the first section is the North Pole, which is the first 5 levels. It's the polar bears in the beginning through sledding. That section is like really well optimized right now. It's probably at nearly its best it can be, unless you like get out of bounds or something. And then the second section is New York, which is mostly just like RNG, like lights through packages. We're in section number 3 right now, which is just basically waiting. 2 levels that are
Hard-coded
coded.
section. Yeah.
Yeah, two levels that are hard coded to last 3 minutes. Okay.
And then after that we have Christmas Eve, which is just a couple different levels that are pretty easy to do correctly, but can be messed up. But
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, so
go for it.
may I continue?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have another donation.
Oh boy.
From Pokey, say for $10 saying elf.
Elf.
That's spooky.
Elf.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pookie. I hope you are the one to determine how to get out of bounds one day.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see Buddy has a health bar. It's because these snowballs can hit me, but you can duck to not get hit by them. So once I get 30 snowballs, then I just duck for the rest of the level, which again, really exciting speed gameplay. Alright, we're finally
It's funny
ready to
because
move on.
the game has a weird mix of levels where a lot of them are like actually entertaining to watch as a speed game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's literally just the waiting section that is horrible. And we
Yeah.
have like Super Mario Sunshine tier RNG in New York City, but other than that, I mean, it's actually a pretty good speed game. So if anyone out there is looking to pick up a new speed game, I'd say it's very easy to get a competitive time.
We have a Discord.
Yeah, so if you look us up, if you go to speedrun.com/elf, I was able to nail that one down. You can see our Discord link. I'll answer any question you want. If you watch any of the VODs of my runs, you can learn how to play any level pretty quickly. I would say it probably takes about 100 attempts to get a 28-minute time, and then I'm at 2,700 attempts now because I'm trying to go for like a 26:30, which is what I consider to be a perfect run. So obviously, if you want to do it perfectly, it'll take a while. But just as like a hey, I'm bored this weekend, I'd like to learn a speed game. Like seriously, you should check it out. I think it's a really
It's not that hard to
fun
get into.
undertaking.
It's definitely pretty fun, other than the waiting levels. But I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
So this section, Santa kept forgetting like whose house to give which presents to, so he started color coding them. So we have 3 minutes to drop off 20 presents. I'm pretty sure it's 20. I have only ever done 25 because I'm worried that I have the number wrong, and I've only ever done 25 in runs. So we're gonna drop off 25 of these presents, and then sit
Unfortunately,
still.
the developers of this game didn't think like maybe we should just cut it off when you throw enough presents.
Well, to be fair, they probably didn't think about speedrunning in 2004 when they were developing a licensed Game Boy game based on Elf.
That's their fault.
Yeah,
That
I
was
agree.
their mistake.
Speedrunning was the future. They should have seen it. But yeah, so once again, really fun speed gameplay. We'll get 25 of these presents, and then we'll just chill and get ready for the last 2 splits, the Christmas Eve section of the game.
Yeah, next split is actually pretty entertaining. Our next split is called Nuts, and so basically there's a bunch of trees in the level, and they have nuts and bolts in them to fix Santa's sleigh. And there are some park rangers in the level that will run into you and do a ton of damage, and they suck. So he's gonna try and despawn the park rangers by getting into the trees and getting ahead of them. And it's a decently hard trick, so we're just gonna have to see if it works out.
Yeah, there's kind of 3 different iterations of the game. There's Great Nuts, which is where right at the beginning of the game, I'll jump up into a tree to avoid the ranger, and then I'll run ahead of him and then fall so that like I run into him and he turns around. There's Good Nuts, which is where I'll get that first jump, but then still have to fall down behind the ranger, but then later on I can jump past him. And then there's Bad Nuts, which is where I miss that first jump, and then like I just had to kind of play it by ear, like trying to avoid the ranger. So obviously we're gonna try and go for Great Nuts if possible. Also, if I'm counting out loud like a psychopath in this level, it's because in order to know which trees have the nuts in them, I just started counting trees, and I have a post-it note with the numbers of the trees written down. So you'll hear me counting. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the trees all look the same. There's not enough visual cues to do it without counting, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and jump up into the second tree, like right after the ranger moves past it up here. So I'm gonna get on this bush. Got up there. So now I'm gonna try and jump to another tree. I got it, so.
Good. I think you're set up here. The only risk is that if he drops out of the tree, he might fall on the ranger, just because that occasionally happens. 7. Okay, so yeah, I didn't take a time loss there. 8, 9, 10, and the ranger gets turned around, and now I don't have to mess with them anymore. Here's 11. Here's 12. Oh my gosh, this jump is so hard, man. Yeah, it really is.
13. 14. 15, 16. Here's 17.
It's funny, I called this, I said nuts and bolts, but I think there's only 1 bolt and the rest of them are all nuts.
There's a rocket, I don't know why. 21. 22.
That was part of the engine.
Oh yeah, you're right.
They dropped off that light little
23.
piece.
I thought it was like a screw.
It's because like kids don't believe in Christmas spirit anymore or whatever. 26.
Yeah, because it had like 2 rocket-looking engines there.
And here's
yeah.
tree 27,
Oh, wow.
where we get the last nut. All right, and then up. All right, cool. So now we're entering the final level of the game. This level's called Bells. You have to collect 20 bells. Typically, you would just like fly around like a goofball trying to find them before like the park ranger catches up to you. But I've memorized like the fastest possible way to get them. So
Yeah, this level is typically really hard because once you start collecting bells, it cuts you off.
9. Okay, so I'm gonna fly up here once I see the 10th bell, and then I'm just gonna stay in the air until I run out of energy. So here's 10, and then I'll fall like onto my 19th bell, and then I'll jump up for 20, and that'll be time. And time. All right, that is Elf the movie for the Game Boy Advance. Kind of a messy run. GG. Kind of a messy run.
And 12 seconds underestimate. Let's go.
Ooh, yeah, I overestimated because I knew that I was gonna fail lights. I just had a good feeling. But yeah, that's a normal run of Elf. Yeah,
31-48.
Really?
GG.
Perfect. Great. So yeah, thank you so much for having me on for the marathon. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, ZDdub and Blomqf for joining. If you, like I said, if you want to learn more about Elf, please like look us up on Speedrun. I'd love to answer every question you have for any new runner out there. So thank you guys for watching.
Same thing with the Discord.
Yep, I'm Ghostwood GG, and I guess that's it for our run.
Thank you for running.
Thank you.